Hello my friends, this is Sylvia Curry, Lady of Cute. Today I'm going to be making a French onion style soup. I got this idea because I had a lot of red onions in my cupboard and I needed to use them up before they start to going bad and sprouting. So I decided, hey, it's cold outside, what could be better than soup, a French onion soup? So let's get this started. Come on, join me. I've got the ingredients for my French onion soup laid out here, and that includes 6 cups of beef broth. I have 4 cups in one measuring cup, 2 cups in another. I've got the equivalent of 6 medium to large onions that have been sliced up in a French type cut. A half a cup of red wine, wine that you can drink, good wine. I've got butter. And this is actually ghee, which is a clarified butter. I'm going to use that to saute and caramelize my red onions. In addition, I'm going to be using some of it on my bread when I go to top the French onion soup. Other ingredients that go into this mixture include, I've got some sherry vinegar, that's a tablespoon. I've got 3 tablespoons of all-purpose flour, and that's going to be used as a thickener for my onions. 3 cloves of garlic, which have been minced. Salt and pepper to taste. A couple of bay leaves, and a few sprigs of thyme, and another piece of garlic, which I'm going to be using to actually season my sourdough bread. I have a couple of slices which I've trimmed to fit in the bowls I'm going to be using. In this recipe I'm going to vary a little bit because I'm going to be putting some provolone cheese underneath the toasted bread, and then I'm going to be topping it with some mozzarella cheese. I know a lot of the recipes that you see are for Gruyere cheese, and even cheddar cheese I've seen, but you go with what you like. And I just happen to have a lot of mozzarella cheese in the house. I'm going to be cooking this French onion type soup in my pressure cooker on saute setting. And that way I can keep it nice and hot so that by the time you get ready to eat, then it's just a matter of pouring the French onion soup in my ceramic bowls, which will tolerate a lot of heat. Putting that layer of provolone cheese, a layer of toasted sourdough bread, which has been seasoned with butter and garlic, and then the layer of mozzarella cheese. And that's going to be cooked in the broiler until that cheese gets nice and ooey gooey and starts to brown a little bit and sort of top over on the side of the dish. Let's go and make this. I've added about 4 tablespoons of my clarified butter, or ghee, to my pot. I'm going to put it on a saute setting, and I'm going to give that a cook time. It's going to take about 30 minutes to get it nice and caramelized. Then I've got my onions. I'll put those all in here. And we're ready to rock and roll here. It's going to take a while for these to sweat down or start to caramelizing. So we'll come back at varying steps during this cooking process so you can see what this looks like. These onions have a lot of moisture to release before they start caramelizing. So that's a lot of that steam coming out of there. We just have to continue to stir and watch it. You can also see how 6 onions has cooked down drastically in just this little bit of time. One of the things that I did not mention previously about the clarified butter is that its burning point is much higher than regular butter because it doesn't have any of the milk solids in it. You can tell that my onions are at that caramelization stage. Number one, because there's not a lot of steam coming off, which means that a lot of the moisture has evaporated off. In addition, you can see we have some browning of the onions. So it's at this point that I'm going to add some of my other ingredients to it. First, I'm going to put in my garlic. I love the smell of garlic. In this household, we are garlic lovers. So this amount of garlic does not hinder me whatsoever. And I'll let that garlic cook a little bit. Don't need to brown it, I just want to get the raw out of it. Next, going in is going to be my flour. And I'll just make sure that that coats all of that onion. And that's going to thicken this onion soup. And we also just need to cook off a little bit of that raw flour. I'm going to now start adding my liquids. Start with the beef broth. And that's a total of 4 from that measuring cup. An additional 2 from this one. We'll stir that around. I'm going to add the bay leaf, the thyme, the sherry vinegar, and red wine. And we'll let that all come back up to a boil and cook through. We're going to cook this for about another 30 minutes or so. That way it'll get thickened. In addition, the flavors will meld all the way through. I'm not going to put the salt and pepper in it just yet, but I do have it here on the side to go in. It's come up to a nice little simmer. I have it on the slow cooker setting right now. And that'll hold it for another couple hours for when we get ready to eat. Do a little tasting. There's no salt and pepper in here yet. It's got good flavor, but yes, it does need salt and pepper. So this is, I'm going to start off with a teaspoon of the salt, maybe about a half a teaspoon of the pepper. I think I can probably go with the rest of the salt though, and the pepper. So now we've got a teaspoon of salt and a teaspoon of pepper in there. And I'll let that continue on the slow cooker setting. And when we come back, we should be ready to serve this baby. Here I have my sourdough bread, which I've buttered, and I took the liberty of buttering it and toasting it. And I'm going to be adding the garlic to it to make it a garlic bread. So it's just a matter of taking a clove of garlic and just scraping it on there. And as you do that, because the surface of the bread is kind of rough, it does take on that garlic. As you can see, the onion soup is done. It's simmered for about 45 minutes. Then I put it on warm until dinner, and that would be now. And I'm getting ready to plate it up. I'm going to take this yummy soup put it in my bowls. And a little variation on a theme as compared to usual ways of doing this. I'm going to take some provolone cheese and put it here on top of the French onion soup. And then I'm going to put my sourdough bread, which has the butter on it in addition to the garlic. And then I'm going to put a big heaping amount of cheese on this. Now, in order to get the effect that most often you see with French onion soups, you probably would have a smaller bowl. But I don't eat that much, so this is going to be enough for me. We're going to put this in the oven, and we're going to let it go until all that cheese melts. Put it on broil, and just get it a little bubbly and gooey, and we're ready to eat. Look at here, look at here. This is my rendition of a French onion soup made with red onions. Let's get a bite of this. Wow, you see that melty cheese? Hope I don't burn my mouth. That is as good as it gets. Yummy, gooey, the soup, that garlic bread. It's what's for dinner. Let me get another bite of that. Ooey, gooey. I want to thank you for watching. I really enjoyed making this video. Even more than making the video, I really enjoyed eating the soup. Cold day, hearty, some of my special ingredients, which includes melty cheese. That's as good as it gets. Next time, okay? Sylvie Carey, Lady of Q, in my kitchen.